And welcome back. I didn't do the what if yesterday. Time just got out of hand. But I'm going to just crack out the next two now. What if Gohan was a member of the Justice League? This comes to us from, and I think I got the name right. Probably not, I'm going to guess. Gershon C. I believe you're the one who gave me this suggestion. Excuse me, I just had lunch and my acid reflux is acting up. So if I burp once in a while, I apologize. This is actually going to be a relatively short one. And the reason for that is it's not saying what if Gohan was born transformed. It's what if Gohan was in the Justice League. So let's assume the DC and Marvel Universe have a bunch of individuals who come from extra dimensions, whatever. So let's just assume through shenanigans, Gohan is wound up in the DC Universe and is eventually part of the Justice League. How does that ultimately affect the Justice League? Well, we first have to ask what version of Gohan are we using. If we're using Gohan at his strongest, it would probably be Dragon Ball Super Gohan during the Tournament of the Power. Now, why is that Gohan at his strongest? Well, excuse me. That is Gohan after he got back his potential. People call it Ultimate Gohan. There really is no actual real term for it. It's like a potential unlocked Gohan, like a fully realized Gohan. And the reason that's him at his strongest is once he turned to Piccolo, he got back to his full power on that they had during the Buu arc, but that form as a whole, your limitations are not capped anymore. You have no limitation so long as you keep training and to continue to grow. So Gohan theoretically can get as strong as possible. You could even match Beerus one day, Jiren, Broly, Goku, all of them. But as it stands, he was at his strongest in the Tournament of the Power because he kept getting stronger ultimately. Ultimate Gohan as term pun. There you go. But where does that rank Gohan among the Justice League? Now we'll use the core we have here. Cyborg's technically been chopped out of the picture, but Cyborg was a part of this too because this is the New 52 Justice League. Obviously, he completely outmatches Batman in a fight, though Batman might be able to figure out a way to make a suit or something to counteract that. He can easily match wits because Gohan's extremely intelligent with someone like Cyborg, and would be able to ultimately take out Cyborg no problem. Once we get to the upper end of the spectrum, then we run into the questions of where does Gohan really match up in the grand scheme of things with the Justice League? Flash, is he as fast as the Flash? Ultimately, no. I mean, instantaneous movement, like just transporting and stuff like that, sure, but it's not instant transmission so much as it's just hyper speed, light speed kind of movement. In short bursts, he's probably faster than the Flash when the Flash isn't trying to go to his max speed, to his max speed. But ultimately, the Flash is faster. But he can still beat the Flash in a one-on-one like combat fight. Aquaman is very powerful, but he kind of ranks below both Superman and Wonder Woman. I feel like he could give Gohan a solid fight, but Gohan could ultimately beat him as well. It is Wonder Woman and Superman that are the two big questions here. And it also depends on your interpretation of the characters. Are we talking about New 52, post-crisis, pre-crisis? The questions, they are a rebirth. The question is that what version are you using? Are you just compositing them together? Because if you composite them together, Gohan probably can't beat Superman. Eventually he could beat Superman, but it would take God knows how long for him to get that strong. And I'm not saying he's fighting the Justice League. I'm just saying where he ranks in the Justice League. He just doesn't have the same level of power as someone like Goku has. He just doesn't at this point. And he probably won't ever have that level of power because he'll probably go back to not fighting after a while. Wonder Woman's a bit. It's clear that Superman is ultimately stronger than Wonder Woman in most regards. Like Wonder Woman's a better fighter than he is. That's a given. But Superman's strength is ultimately great. Durability, strength, speed is ultimately higher than Wonder Woman's is. When Wonder Woman can trade blows with Superman, that's how strong Wonder Woman is. But Superman is the stronger of the two. But Wonder Woman, it's a tough call. I think he could definitely go toe to toe with either Superman or Wonder Woman for a short time. And he's probably about as skilled a fighter as Wonder Woman. Maybe not quite. Like if she's a 10, he's probably ranking in about a 9. Like Goku is probably a better fighter ultimately than Wonder Woman is, just because he's a martial artist, not necessarily a martial fighter. There is a difference between, just combat training, hand-to-hand fighting, and being a martial artist. it's a different trait of fighting. Like there's guerrilla tactics, there's street fighting, there's martial arts, there's hand-to-hand combat training you get like when you're in the Army, Marines, things along those lines. So martial arts definitely exist, and martial arts definitely exist, but Wonder Woman isn't a martial artist. Like Batman, for all intent and purposes, is actually a martial artist. Granted, he's composited into his own style, knows multiple styles, but Wonder Woman isn't so much a martial artist. She's just a supremely excellent fighter. So Gohan probably ranks somewhere around the area of Wonder Woman, give or take. Like the level of energy he has, Wonder Woman we know doesn't have energy attacks, so he outdoes her there. And then there's also the Green Lantern scenario. I would say Gohan could probably beat out at least Hal Jordan Green Lantern, at least as we see him in New 52. In other depictions, Hal Jordan probably could beat Gohan, though it's still in debate. So Gohan probably hovers somewhere in the Hal Jordan to Wonder Woman spectrum of the Justice League. But how would that ultimately affect the Justice League as a whole, having him as a member? Well, he's very intelligent, nowhere near, say, Batman or even the Flash or anyone like that, but he's very intelligent, so... And I say the Flash because the Flash isn't a super genius like Batman or even Cyborg is, but he can think faster than even the computer can. So he's capable of thinking of strategies on the fly so fast that you can't even comprehend it. But at the same time, yeah, Gohan's probably is smarter than the Flash overall. It's just Flash can think faster. He's probably not smarter than someone like Batman. He probably isn't quite the level of a Cyborg, but that's just because Cyborg has a freaking computer in his brain. Excuse me 1 second. My reflex is actually pretty bad today. I've got some chest pains going on. I'm not having a heart attack. As far as I know, I'm not having a heart attack. My arm doesn't hurt, so that's a good sign. And no, I don't have the corona, but yeah, my reflex is acting up, is not good today. It's on the bad side. So I'm a little, it's kind of stinting my breathing just a little bit. Nothing serious. I'm fine, but like doing that, like exhaling fine, inhaling, little tightness there. So, but again, burping, getting the gas out helps, but I'm trying not to do that on camera too much. Point being is that what would Gohan add to the Justice League? Well, he'd add a certain level of humanity that I think Batman and even Superman doesn't have. He'd also add a very solid fighter onto the team, going up against individuals like someone like a Darkseid. He'd be a big aid in that. The Darkseid is clearly stronger than Gohan. Darkseid clearly outmatches a lot of even the Dragon Ball Z cast, if not all of them, quite frankly. The only one he might lose, and that's a versus for another time, would be maybe Zeno. And that's only because Zeno can literally obliterate an entire universe like that. Even Darkseid can't quite do that. Even though his entire body, is so large and, his physical being would land and destroy a universe, his actual body, Zeno could theoretically just wipe out like that. So that's a really tough call on that one, who's actually the stronger individual there. But that's a who would win for another day. But yeah, against Darkseid, against Brainiac, he'd be a cool individual to match against Brainiac, because Gohan could actually try to match wits on some level with Brainiac, and maybe even have the forethought to outsmart him in some way, shape, or form. Ultimately, though, how would he fare against Doomsday? He'd probably do okay initially, but again, his power just isn't the same level as, say, his dad's. Who I do believe Goku could beat Doomsday. Going all out, Goku could I feel beat Doomsday with difficulty, but not without killing himself. He could beat Doomsday. Now I guess the other question is, does Gohan, assuming he doesn't stay faithful to his wife and kid back into the other universe, does he end up hooking up with anyone? I wouldn't say so. Gohan's a pretty chill guy. He's pretty faithful guy, from what we could tell. Gohan would just really be a solid addition to the Justice League if they had him. The question is if they got him, and that is what it's about. Ultimately, though, would there be an Achilles heel of a character for Gohan in this world? DC's got a lot of powerful hitters, heavy hitters. Like, hell, him duking out with Starfire would be a fun fight, though I think he'd ultimately win pretty easily. Raven would be an interesting fight, definitely. Going up against any Kryptonian would be interesting, because not all the Kryptonians are created equal. Like, Supergirl, technically, it could be considered stronger than Superman, but technically isn't. Power Girl, an alternate version of Supergirl, not quite as strong as them. So, yeah, it's an interesting little dynamic. But ultimately, he would add a nice little economy to the Justice League. He'd aid in a lot of great fights. Honestly, he'd probably be doing a lot of cleanup with a lot of crime on lower level villains, because he just would easily overpower a lot of the lower tier. Like, put him out against Batman's Rogues Gallery. So unless the Scarecrow or Joker got a fear toxin or Joker venom into him, or Poison Ivy was able to seduce him somehow, none of them are beating Gohan. Like, Gohan could wipe Batman's Rogue Gallery off of the grid. He'd be like, okay, you're in jail for good. Bye. He could take on a chunk of Superman's rogues. Like, again, Darkseid and Brainiac would probably be and Doomsday would be the big three hitters that he'd have the most problems with, if not lose to. Lex Luthor, you really wouldn't have any problem against Lex Luthor. I don't even think, even with the suit on, Lex Luthor could take on Gohan. Because Gohan could just move far faster than, and we're not talking traveling speed, we're talking about combat speed. That's a completely different thing. So he'd definitely beat Lex Luthor. Metallo, he could take Metallo out, no problem. Toymaker, which is technically a Batman villain too, but yeah, he could beat him, he'd take him. Live Wire, Silver Banshee, could take both of them out, no problem. So yeah, he could handle a solid amount of Superman's Rogues Gallery. Flash's Rogues Gallery, besides maybe Gorilla Grodd and, oh god. Oh, I'm blanking on a couple other Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, the Tricks. No, yeah, he could easily take on. I'm going over the Rogues Gallery now in my head to see how they compare. He can easily take out a lot of Flashes. Most of if not all of Aquaman's he could take out, no real issue, even though Aquaman's a lot tougher in certain versions. Wonder Woman has a gallery. Rogues Gallery has individuals like Hades and Ares, actually deities involved. So that's a different economy of like powers and stuff like that. That that would be an interesting test for Gohan if he could take on like someone like the Greek gods and stuff like that. Would be an interesting one. And of course you got like the Yellow Lanterns, the Red Lanterns, stuff like that, which I think Gohan could take on to some degree, depending on which Lantern Corp he's going up against. If he's going up against someone like Larfleeze, he'd have a problem because Larfleeze is one of the stronger lanterns. Just because there can only be one Orange Lantern, he is the one Orange Lantern. If you're going up somehow, for some reason, up against a Blue Lantern at their peak, might have some problems there. For some reason, you had to fight a White Lantern, probably would have problems there. Like the higher level Lantern Corps, in terms of their power, would definitely pose a challenge, but overall, I think he could take on a decent amount of the yellows, reds, even Atrocitus. I think he could go toe-to-toe with. But it would be a serious fight, no doubt. But ultimately, that is my thoughts on the general what if Gohan were in the Justice League. It's not really a story so much as what would the impact of Gohan being in the Justice League be. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think would happen if Gohan were in the Justice League? Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. I'll do a review of it at some point. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back with, I think it's part 5 now, of What If Goku Were Adopted by the Briefs, going to the DBZ territory now. So thanks for watching, and see you later.